parents, caregivers, friends, and family. Welcome to another installment of Your Library at Home. I want to take a moment at the top of this program to describe what we'd like to achieve with it. Since many libraries are currently closed to the public, or where libraries are open, restrictions for programming are in place. We'd hope to provide families and caregivers the skills and framework to compose story times at home, just the way that children's programmers do at the library. Much of what we do here reflects Every Child Ready to Read standards, and I'll just go over them briefly. These standards are the focus on nurturing pre-literacy skills in the library and at home. And these standards include all the major components of early literacy preparation, including talking with your child, singing with your child, reading with your child, writing with your child, and playing with your child. We use interactive books to engage young readers, not just because they require attention from the listener to progress the story, but because they facilitate critical thinking skills for littles. They foster back and forth experiences between you and your child and inspire creativity and curiosity. Keeping kids curious is one of the best ways to promote early literacy skills. So behind me, you'll see the Asheboro Library is currently in a genre format in the children's room. We filed our picture books based on theme and format rather than just by the last name of the author. So we're trying to improve the browsing experience for children. When they like a dinosaur book, when they like dinosaur books, they'll know exactly where to go for dinosaur books. Which brings me to the section that I have behind me here. We have fun books behind me. In the fun book section, we have a subsection called interactive books. And we've shelved all of our popular interactive texts here for ease of access. And here are a couple of different interactive books that I want to share with you that you can use with your littles at home to have interactive, engaging story times. These are how to use these books at home with your children. We'll just briefly go through a couple of my favorites and a couple of the most popular ones that we have on our shelves. This one is called Say Zoop. It's by Henry Tilley. And this is an example of a book that you're going to actually be touching, pressing, and interacting with physically. So the reader yourself is going to be instructing the child or who you're reading to interact and engage physically with the book in order to progress the storyline. So this one says, "Hi, are you really sure you want to play? Great. Put your finger on this dot and say, oh," which will prompt your child to put a finger on the dot and say, oh. And then as the story progresses, they'll be doing bigger and deeper and more thought-provoking tasks to progress the story. This is a really great text to practice counting with, and you can do comparative, like small versus large. A lot of Henry Tilley's books are really interactive and very fun. So that was Say Zoop. Another one that you have to touch to interact with is Tap the Magic Tree by Christy Mathison. And this is another series, Tap and Touch series. So you'll see in here, we have a magic tree. So the reader will be encouraging the listener to engage with this magic tree. There's a magic tree, it's bare and brown. Now tap it once and turn the page to see. So your child will tap the page and turn to see a leaf. And as you engage with the text, the tree gets more and more leaves and goes through the seasons. Another wonderful talking point with your little, that's Tap the Magic Tree. Other books will encourage you to have a conversation with your child about what they're seeing in the book. It also engages in a back and forth that you as the reader, as the adult or caregiver reading with the child, will have to maybe formulate a voice for. So Duck, Rabbit. This is a book where two people are having a conversation outside of the book about what they're seeing here. Are they seeing a duck or are they seeing a rabbit? So you, being one voice, says, "Hey, look, a duck." And then as a response from another voice, "That's not a duck, that's a rabbit." And then you with your child get to discuss what you see, what they see, and engage with the book that way. And the speakers go back and forth, and it gives you an opportunity to have a conversation with your child and through this text to see whether this is a duck or a rabbit. That's a very fun one. Another one that's similar to that, which requires you to have a conversation and use multiple different voices, would be the Button Book. This one is one of my favorites. It's by Sally Nichols. And you'll see a bunch of really creative, adorable animals pushing various buttons that will create situations that are different. So this is the blue button that they've just pushed is a singing button, and it requires that all the animals in the text start singing, which could encourage you as the parent, caregiver, reader to start singing along as well. Shall we press the green button now? The animals clamor to get to the green button, and the green button will have the animals. It's a raspberry button. All the animals are going and making raspberries. So that'll encourage you and your child to be doing the same. This is a little bit different from the interactive text, which makes you push the button because you're actually observing the animals pushing the buttons for you. So it's a little bit more out of your hands. You can have a lot more fun with that too. In case your little refuses to push a button, the animals are actually doing it for you, so you actually have to engage in the text that way. The Button Book, it's really silly, really fun. Another one similar to that is the Do Not Open This Book book. It's like a warning book. It's a book about reading signs. This is narrated by Adam Lehrhaupt. And the book itself is developed through signage, which is a really interesting, fun way to interact with the world around you when you're practicing early literacy with your little. So as you're walking around down the street and you see a sign, you can practice saying, what does that sign say? What is that shape? What is the color of that sign? What does that mean when it's the color red or the color green? So that's a way to use early literacy around you. And this book kind of takes advantage of that. And it starts, maybe you should put this book back. You don't want to let the monkeys out. And there's a sign that says danger with a monkey on it. Why did you turn the page? Didn't you see the warning? And here's all the warning signs here that say, go back, please stop. And it's preventing you from progressing in the story, but your child is going to say, no, keep going, keep going. And that's the form of interaction that this book takes. Oh no, now you've done it. You've let a monkey escape, and then all kinds of hijinks. So this is a really fun one. There's also the monster at the end of this book. This is one I think is very familiar for all of us in different age groups. Really, really popular one. Of course, it's Sesame Street, one of the best. Starring lovable, furry old Grover. And this is a large, big, little golden book. So this is Grover. He's going to be talking to us, the monster at the end of this book. This is a very dull page. What is on the next page? So you can supply the voice for the characters and carry on through the book. And Grover's going to say, oh, what did that say? On the first page, what did that say? Did that say there will be a monster at the end of this book? It did? Oh, I am so scared of monsters. So the characters are going to be talking to the child and to the reader as you're progressing through their book, which makes it a more interactive text. The monster at the end of this book, if you haven't read this one, I strongly recommend it. It is so cute and you can't wait to get to the end. Another interactive book that's similar in theme with monsters is Go Away Big Green Monster by Ed Emberly. And this one also will be familiar to a lot of people because you are creating the monster as you go through the book with all of these cutouts. So sometimes the actual text itself will be the interaction. As you're turning the page, you are creating something as you go. So really the reader is the one interacting with the text the most because they're usually the ones who are page turning. But if you have a little who wants to turn the page, it's even better because then they get to create the monster at the end of the book. Last one I'm going to show you is Tap, Tap, Bang, Bang by Emma Garcia. This is a really fun interactive text that doesn't require you to touch, feel, or interact with the book itself, but it encourages you to mimic the sounds and the motions of the screwdrivers and the hammers and the different tools that are in the book. So look at all these tools. What can we do with them? And so here's a display of all the tools, and of course they all have eyes and personalities. They're very, very cute. We can cree-crawl, cut with the saw. and you can see the saw going cree, craw. So that will encourage you to make these sounds with your child, to make the seesawing kind of motion of a saw. You can engage with the text by pretending to use the saw and use the different tools as you're going through the book. So that's a really great interactive text that will help you make sounds and work on phonological awareness as you're going through the book. So I hope you enjoyed those examples of a few interactive texts that we have with us at the Asheboro Public Library in the children's room. Throughout Randolph County, we've got a lot of different kind of interactive texts. You could always give us a call at the children's room at 336-318-6804, and we would gladly pick out these books or any other interactive texts that you're interested in for you to curbside pick up and use at home with your child. But speaking of books, before I let you go, I wanted to talk briefly about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Have you heard of this service yet? It's incredible. The Randolph County Partnership for Children wants you to know that this is a free service for children under 5. Your child will receive a free book from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library once a month in the mail addressed to them, which is so exciting for a little. This is an excellent resource to build up a thriving home library, and it's no cost at all to you or the families. So all you have to do is live in Randolph County and fill out a sign-up form like this one here. If you have multiple children under the age of 5, no problem. You'll receive a different age-appropriate book per child in your family under the age of 5, which is terrific. So that means your children are all getting new and unique books each month. You can call us at the Asheboro Public Library Children's Room, and we'll be sure to give you a pamphlet like this with more information as well as the sign-up form that's inside. Or you can visit the Randolph County Partnership for Children website and sign up there and get more information there. We have 4,000 more slots to fill for this free service, so be sure that you and your family are one of them. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful month. We'll see you next month for another installment of Your Library at Home.